Hang on 1 second. 1 second. Hang on. Video, I'm not ready. Yeah. Now that's what they call refreshment. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another revolutionary thought. I'm speaking this time particularly to those individuals who may have not seen my previous videos, which basically goes into a little bit about what I'm going to be doing on the YouTube channel as opposed to the podcast. So if you haven't seen the podcast dedicated to a step-by-step, going to be getting into the politics and the relationship to you as an individual and how to empower yourself so that you realize that you can make a change in the world. However, the YouTube channel is more of a raw dogging kind of style. It's not going to be filtered. It's going to be more or less me looking at you, telling you exactly how I feel about stuff, and then trying to see if I can get an interaction or even maybe get an emotional reaction out of people. Because people today seems like they're just, under the carpet. They don't really care what's going on. It's just another day in the wonderful land of make-believe, I guess. So, the topic of this matter this time on this revolutionary thought is parties. Who believes that actually the Republican, Democrat, or Labor, or Conservative Party, or the Green Party, or who believes parties really matter? And if you're a person who believes that you're a Republican or a Democrat or whatever, and you believe party matters, you gotta wake up. And I'll tell you why. Because parties, the way that they're set up right now, they don't matter. They usually have a constituency, and they have to favor particularly what the party thinks as a group or as a whole. And they usually vote that way. They usually vote that way specifically. And there's a reason for that. Because they don't want one group, whatever that may be, if it's the Democrats that are in power right now, or the Republicans that are in power, or the Labor Party over in England, depending on who's in power. They don't want the other individuals to get what they want. So they can use that as leverage later so that they can get what they want maybe in a different vote. It's a plea bargaining system. They call it the political arena. Now, what you may not be aware of is that parties have got to raise funds in order to get elected. Now, if you're not aware of that, the way the system works is you have to have a constituency. You have to have enough backing. And in order to have enough backing, you have to have people who donate funds or raise money for your campaign. Now, the Republican National Committee does that too, but they usually don't solidify those funds until they know exactly who their candidate is. However, when we're talking about grassroots and at the bottom and whatnot, or if we're talking about people who are donating money to a particular candidate's cause or candidate's race for the presidency, you wouldn't believe how many big businesses and big organizations are kind of hidden behind there, and they use different kind of funding agencies in order to have money given to these individuals. Now, there's supposedly checks and balances to prevent against all of this kind of stuff, but, look at all the stuff that happened with Romney and happened with Clinton and happened with Bush. I mean, we can go on each one of the presidencies and talk about exactly how much money that they got, how much money that they spend for advertising and beating up the other guy or whatnot. But what I'm going to try to tell you here today, if you haven't noticed already, or if you don't know already, parties don't matter. You got to realize that they're both on the same side. Now, they make it look like one guy doesn't know what the other guy's talking about, and this party hates what this party's talking about, and this party can't do this. But at the end of the damn day, it's all bullshit. Okay? And I say that with the greatest authority that I possibly can. It's bullshitto. And you can start to see it once you open your eyes up and you start to realize that the media, the television media, the written media, the political scene, it's all staged in a way such that you have a feeling, I guess, that your vote makes a difference. And people will say, well, they'll show you some of these little stats that say, oh, well, if this group would have just voted a little bit more, this guy would have got in. The problem with it is that when you have two candidates that are basically the same and you're voting, who gives a rat's ass who gets in? It doesn't matter who gets in. It doesn't give a flying whatever which candidate, which party, because they're all part of the damn machine. And that's the thing that people need to understand. The machine, oops, I hit the microphone. The machine is one part of a huge collaboration of individuals, most of who you don't see, that work behind the scenes, that are puppeteering this whole bullshit story that you believe you actually play a part in, and your participation matters. It doesn't. It hasn't for quite some time. I mentioned in a previous video, Kennedy was the last president that actually tried to make a difference and try to kick out secret societies or secret agencies and, black ops projects and all of this other military industrial complex crap. Try to, assassinate and get rid of the mob. Try to get rid of the people that were trying to dismantle the democratic process within our United States. And the thing about it is that if you look at all of the history of the wars that the United States has been in, and I mentioned it in the podcast, in the Rollman Revolution Podcast, episode number 5, if you haven't looked at it, go ahead and check that out. But in episode number 5, there's a list from the 21st century, from World War I up, of all of the invasions that the United States government has gotten themselves into, and it's supposedly for our benefit, national security. It didn't matter what president was in power. If you look at it, there were Republicans, Democrats alike. It didn't matter. The puppeteers were always there. And the ones that you need to look at very, very closely and look at the history of is the Bush family for sure, the Rockefeller family, the Rothschild family, the Dulles brothers, and there's a few more. I wish I would have brought some notes with me, but these people in particular have crafted and molded the system that you see or the history that you've been taught. See, it's very easy as a group of individuals, or as a people. Let's look at the people on the outside. People on the outside, we're looking at this play, and let's look at it from that perspective. It's a play. It's a drama being played out, and we're participants in the audience. And this stuff here is on the primordial arch of the theater, and that is where the show is actually happening. Okay, and we're supposed to believe that these people up on this stage are creating this drama, and we're taken fully in by these people, and we're supposed to believe that this is real. See, the thing about drama is that there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. And it's all been written out ahead of time. Very much similar to the way that the political arena has been over the last 100 years with the Bilderberger Group and a whole bunch of other people who meet in secret, and you don't know exactly what's going on with these individuals. But it's serious business, because if you're playing chess and you're playing both sides of chess, you can pretty much predict which move is going to be made at what time, because you're ultimately in control. Okay, and these individuals don't give a rat's ass about who wins and who loses, as long as they're making profits. And they put these individuals, we call them politicians, at the front line, and they're supposed to defend this and bullshit about that, and basically tell you that this is a security breach and that we need to do this. And meanwhile, the liberties are being taken away. People are starving. People are dying from lack of justice, and people are overeating in the world. Wow. The problem with it is it's not that these individuals are bad people. We just given them the opportunity to make huge advances on our liberties. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting sick and tired of having to go to war and spending billions of dollars at the taxpayers' expense, especially here in America. You're paying billions of dollars that could go to aid in healthcare and in education and a couple other different areas to try to get people to become better individuals, not stuck down at the bottom. We need more people to be business owners, investors, dreamers that create new things and revolutionary ideas, because that's where the future is. It's not where it is now. And where we are today is going to be absolute hell tomorrow. And if you don't see it, if you don't feel it, if it isn't real for you, you're just going to let things slide by, and then all of a sudden, one day you wake up and you're going to realize your country's not here anymore. We're blowing up people all around the world in the interest of national security, in the interest of a violation of this or a violation of that. We're infiltrating this country and this country and this country. And I'm telling you right now, you think it's bad now. Once this Islamofascism, Middle Eastern Arab Spring situation's over, a new enemy's got to be created. It's never going to stop. It hasn't stopped since World War I. And it continues on no matter what president's in office. So if I'm going back to, if you believe that parties matter, it doesn't matter. What matters is revolution. And I'm not talking about beating the living hell out of these people in the world and creating a distrust and taking to the streets and destroying everything. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about locking arms. Everybody, dropping everything. Because you are the people that create stuff in this country. You're the people that actually matter in this country. These people, they leave tomorrow. Guess what? They're going to have to go with them. Our military does exactly what their upper branch tells them what to do. But there's so many people in the military that have no goddamn idea what the hell they're doing over where they're at. They're creating conflict. Unless you're crazy and you look at some of the things that are happening around the world, not from the media's perspective in the United States, the BBC, or even Europe. I'm talking about in the middle of the Islamic countries. Looking at Al Jazeera television, looking at some of the other television networks that are pulling in press and ideas from a different perspective. You would cry your ass off if you knew what our military was being asked to do over there. In the interest of what? To gain more money and line the pockets of individuals who don't give a rat's ass about anything but power, money, and control. So I'm going to leave you with that. I don't want you to think that I don't care about America. I love America. But this is not the country I'm signing up for. And when my name goes out there saying that the Americans are doing this, Americans are not doing this. Our government and the people behind our government are the ones making these decisions. The people at the bottom don't even know what this is. I mentioned that before. I mentioned in my podcast. This is a word that is used so loosely, and the American name is attached to whatever this or that is. And most Americans don't have a clue what this or that is. It's time we understand the issues. It's time we understand what's actually going on around us. The future is created by those individuals who are actually alive here in the present. Let me say that again. The future is created by those who are actually alive here in the present. You know where we are now, and you know the future that you want, and you're not happy with the way you see this game or play or drama being played out. I'll tell you how you make the difference. It's very, very easy. What you do is you recognize the situation now, and you start to see what it is you want, and we'll work together to try to get there and get that future and create that reality. Because the way it is right now, it's absolutely set up for destruction. And guess what? You don't think it's going to affect you right now. But ultimately, parties that we have in the United States and in Europe and in England, the UK, it doesn't matter. It's got to go. It's out the door. And it's just damn boring. It doesn't serve anybody but the people at the highest level of this power, this echelon, and these big businesses that have all these loopholes, tax loopholes, and bonuses being handed out. And meanwhile, people are starving, people are dying, people are, being ridiculed and ruined by lack of justice in the world. And it's just got to stop. And if you're not on the board now, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to get any better tomorrow. I promise you that. It's not. So that's another revolutionary thought. I hope you tune in again next time. And check out the podcast, www.rollmanrevolution.com. And I got 5 of them up there right now. Working on 6, working on 7. We're just starting out on this thing. But things have got to change. People got to start waking up. I just got tired of having to listen to all of this. And I really want people to be engaged for the first time in their life. Take ownership of the world you want. Take ownership of the life you want. And don't forget to dream. It's very important to keep the dream. Take care. Peace.